All right, so y'all, if like bad thing happened, and I don't know want to think about this, I'm not manifesting that your house starts on fire, but you lose all of your wardrobe, but you can only keep one thing item, right, to be able to start over with. And I want to be really clear on this one. Like wardrobe is to me like anything that you like present yourself with, right? So you have one thing to keep. Alondra, I'm going to first go to you, then go to Ruthie, and I'll finish. So Alondra, what are you keeping?
Okay, I think I would probably I have like a favorite black bodysuit that I can wear it, I can like dress it up, I can also do it very casual, and I feel like that's like a statement for me. So mine's like and I don't even know where I got it from, honestly. I want to say it was maybe like Marshall's a random day, but I love that black bodysuit. I've looked for it everywhere and I can never find it, so that's probably.
Well, I hope that you have a few more like that. I would imagine, like I haven't worn a bodysuit in a while, but like I imagine that has to be like a staple.
Yeah.
Once you find it, it's amazing. Okay, cool. So bodysuit, Ruthie.
I'm actually gonna have to go with a pair of shoes. I have these pair of boots. They actually have a big heel on them, so they give me about 3 inches of height, which I'm short, so I need.
How tall are you naturally?
5'2".
Perfect.
So they give me some height, but they have a big chunky wedge to them, so I can wear them I can work 12 hours in them, and my feet don't hurt at the end of the day. And they go with any outfit. They can dress it up and present myself very professionally with them too. So they're just perfect for any outfit.
So I was going to go footwear until like milliseconds before I heard Alondra's answer. I don't know if you like. Maybe y'all won't let me qualify this, so it's up to you. For me, I'm going to keep cologne.
Okay.
Yeah. I love Louis Vuitton, and if it was I went to it, there's I bought, I think I have 6 pairs of the same like Nike boot. And then I have them in brown, green, like a mint green, and then black. And that's what I was gonna go with, but I'm gonna go back to cologne. So that's gonna be what I keep. All right. So like the part of it that I like though, like as we all sat through there, like there's this part I feel like that you like I saw in both of your eyes. It's like, what would I do if I didn't have that? Like it'd be so sad not to have it. So, all right, cool. Well, we're gonna jump into the podcast. I'm super excited to talk with you both today. So we're gonna jump in. All right, everyone. So, hey, welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with Ruthie and Alondra from Silver Salon. We're at ABS right now. So you're both y'all's first time here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so one by one, you tell me what your thoughts are so far.
I feel very empowered being around a bunch of other people in the industry who are just wanting to be here to connect with people and to grow their business and to just learn new things. Like, I'm very excited about that.
Awesome. Alondra, what about you?
I feel very seen and heard. I feel like all the problems or issues everyone else has talked about, questions they've had, I feel like I can relate to it. So it's good. It's nice to feel like I'm not the only one having issues or having, I guess, questions and being curious about certain things. So it's been really, really fun.
Okay, so let's serve it forward for both of you, and Alondra, I'll start with you. Something that you've learned so far, that like, what's your biggest takeaway so far?
The first class we took today, they talked a lot about having how to make your guests feel heard and seen, and I feel like that's something that I always try to do, but I feel like I definitely want to take it up a notch and really understand what it is that they want and what it is that how they feel when they leave my chair and how to elevate that.
What was like, if you were to like give like one tip, like what was one tip that was shared that was like I'm doing this from now on?
One thing that Lisa Gill said this morning was that every hair matters. She's like, every hair matters. She's like, take your time, really. And another thing that they said was setting up a great consultation and how to build from that. And I feel like that's one thing I definitely took away was I definitely want to set a good expectation and be able to deliver it, but also understand what they're looking for and what the expectation is to make sure you can hit the mark.
So good. Okay, Ruthie, tell me.
I kind of want to build off of that a little bit because we were taking a class about gray coverage and gray blending.
Yeah.
And typically, like, I have gray coverage clients that come in very consistently, but ways to still amp up their consultation. And even though they are an existing guest, like offering new things and making sure I'm still hearing their problems and their concerns, even though we've been doing the same formula for 2 years.
So good. I love that one. I mean, really for both of them, right? Like, we're going to talk about, retention and and what, both some of your secrets are for that. But I really think that like, not just because, it might be like your 97th time doing someone's gray retouch, like still give them the service and the treatment and the questions. Like they might want something that's different, or they might be experiencing something different on the in-between. That's so good. Both of those are such brilliant retention pieces. So I think like naturally I'm just gonna like roll into that one. So both of you, how long have you been in the industry licensed?
I have been licensed for 2 years.
2 years, Alondra?
Same, 2 years.
Okay. Wow, brilliant. So when you look at it 2 years in, when you think about like, building your business and retaining clients, what's your magic?
So my big thing is I want to meet people where they're at.
Okay.
So if you are having a bad day and you want to come in and just be able to decompress, like I don't want to be a chatterbox over here and like making you uncomfortable in that way. But if you want to, talk, then we can talk all day long and I'll listen. Or if you want me to talk about my life, I'll happily do that. I just want to meet people kind of where they are and just provide that space for them, because who knows what they're coming in from, what walk of life they're coming in from.
Yeah, I think it's such a good ability to have that awareness to like, for me, it's not that like if I just stay like even keel and like exactly where I'm at, I might not serve them best because I'm not keying into like, oh, like it seems like you're activated today, or like, having a great day, or like, gosh, like how is life, right? Like, how are you doing, right? And checking in that way. That's so good. Alondra, what do you got?
I kind of want to build on that too, because I feel like meeting people where they are is so important, in the sense that like if somebody comes in and they're having a bad day and you can be a safe space for them, I feel like people will never forget that. They'll never forget how you made them feel, which is what I feel like I wish I would have known earlier, is that you can deliver great hair and you can do great work, but if you don't make somebody feel a certain way, you won't retain them forever.
Yeah, I think there's a really interesting, thought, and once you apply it, it's so interesting how this will work into the relationships that you have with your clients. Like if the intention is like make this visit unforgettable, right? Whether it's a laugh, whether it's a question, right? Whether it's planting the seed for maybe like something in the future. But I think that like just by going in with that and like maybe even ask the question like, hey, like what would serve you best today? Like as we navigate this, gosh, I love how it's like, all right, I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna build on it. Cool. All right, so like for those of you that don't know, we have an Enneagram 3 here, an Enneagram 1. I am also a 3. So I wanna talk to this, maybe specifically as we're talking about, it is in the sense of being like disingenuine, but you need to be able to like alter yourself, right? Like tune yourself a little bit to be able to get like the best thing out of a client for a client. So when you think about this as a 3, what's your superpower? And then what's the thing that you're like, I really got to watch this because it can get like dangerous or like slippery for me, right? So which one?
Yeah, so for me, I would say my superpower is that I'm constantly learning. Like I want to know things and I want to hit goals and achieve them for myself. And so like I'm kind of known, so maybe this is where my fault kind of is like I'm constantly changing my goalposts to be further and further away. So I have a hard time like celebrating the small wins in the middle. Such a 3
thing. It's so funny. So for those of you, if you don't know what the Enneagram is, we do Enneagram assessment within Refine. So like if you don't know what that is, check out our website. So I want to dive into that a little bit because like I think for as a 3, like there's this part of like is being content okay? Yeah, just by your face, like
yeah.
Like so like as you're building, then like when you hit a goal before you put the goalpost out there, what are you doing there?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, the other day I walked into Aaron's office and we have kind of set out a couple of goals for me and like, the 3-year, the 5-year, but I came out and I said something really bold and really courageous. And I was like, I'm thinking like, 10, 15 years down the line. And she's just like, okay, awesome. Like, okay, that's good. But like, we gotta, continue on like with the little milestones. Like, cause I'm already seeing, many years into the future, whereas, I need to be focusing right now on the present. What am I doing today that will set me up for success then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to come back then, Bill.
Okay.
For you, when you think of the same thing, so like what's your superpower? And then what's one thing you're like, I really got to watch that?
Yeah, I feel like my superpower is I am very tedious. Like I love to go in and really focus on all aspects of what my guest is looking for. I feel like I like to analyze everything and have a plan out. I also feel that could be my downfall because sometimes I feel like I'm, again, like Ruthie, seeing so far ahead that I need to focus on what I'm doing now. I also feel that sometimes I overthink a lot and I think of all of these scenarios and I'm like, let me just see what's even going to happen here, right? Like, let me live in this now.
So what I'm kind of hearing there is like in that like pursuit of perfection, that can get like into kind of like a dangerous, like either overthinking, overanalyzing. Yes. So like for you, what are the things that you're like, okay, Alondra, like this is a normal thing that you do. Mm-hmm. Like, do you have anything that you've built in to be able to like acknowledge that and then walk yourself back? Yeah,
one thing that I feel like I've really done and worked on is being okay with it not being perfect, with it, with learning, right? With having and I feel like I've taken that and I've tried to build on that. Like I'm okay with not knowing things. I feel like I've gotten better at asking questions, getting really curious, and also being hungry to learn. I feel like learning is so essential when it comes to the beauty industry, and I feel like it's something that I can take and turn it into my superpower. Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, so let's pivot a little bit. So I think if I understand, so 2 years in the industry, both of y'all are also doing extension work. Yes. So, let's talk about that because I think like in my personal opinion, when I looked at a tenure of someone coming into the industry, there's this point that it's like, hey, like I get that you might want to do that, but in my opinion, sometimes when you like overstack the skills in like the technical that you're doing, you actually end up hurting your core business. So when you look back at like, when you started extensions, was there anything in your mind you're like, I wish I would have done it faster, but it was the right timing when I went into it? So tell me about your experience there.
Yeah, so I initially, I do a lot of things in the salon. I do bridal work, as well as all like normal cuts and colors as well. And at the time I was doing skincare. And so I had my hands in a lot of different pots, and we actually did practice some patience and waiting. And so I did not get certified right away when like Alondra and most of our other team did. We waited probably 6 more months for me to get certified. And that honestly, like that was really hard, but that was like good. And that was a step that I needed to take and just kind of waiting in that moment. And then eventually we were able to kind of lift some other responsibilities that I had to really explore extensions and to provide that service for my guests.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that there was this period where you're like, you definitely want, like that's in your soul, right? But you needed to like practice patience. During that time, if you had been focused on learning extensions, like when you think back to that, what might you have missed?
I feel like I would have missed a lot of educational opportunities for me to like really zoom in on like a lot of my core skills and like just setting the foundation for a lot of the other things I was doing. So I was really able to like hone in on like a lot of cutting techniques and color techniques. That way I could, establish that to set me up well to actually like color match extensions where I'm at now.
Yeah. What about you?
So it was actually really interesting when Aaron came to me and asked me if I wanted to do extensions. I had just gotten behind the chair. I had just finished my the Artist Academy.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, sorry
Shameless
guys.
plug.
But highly recommend. I had just finished the Artist Academy. I was out on the floor for a couple of months. So the thought of doing extensions made me really excited, but it made me really scared. There was like a pit in my stomach whenever Aaron asked me, because I'm like, I want to do this, but like, can I do this, right?
Sure.
And I feel like taking that leap of faith and getting certified in extensions, I feel like opened up a whole new world for me. And I feel like it really let me like come into my own and like get comfortable with color, cuts, extensions, all of the things. And I feel like it really set me up for success in this last year that I've been behind the chair.
Was there, when you think to that, so if I'm hearing it, you go through the Artist Academy, you're a couple months on the floor, like how confident did you feel in your like core technical before jumping into extensions?
I felt good. I felt confident. I was doing great behind the chair, and I felt like I was moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
But the idea of doing something new like extensions, because I had never done extensions, that kind of made me nervous, I guess. But honestly, having the foundation that I had with the Artist Academy, I feel like had I not had that, maybe I wouldn't have been as successful doing extensions and exploring something new without getting my foundation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this, I want to maybe pivot like a little bit. So 2 years in, both of you have had, you're in the same brand, same building. Obviously though, like no two artists are exactly the same, right? And my story within this question is I'm like, for those of you that are out there listening to this, that either, if you're a salon owner and you see an individual that maybe identifies as, the two people I have here, when you look back and if you could speak to like your little baby hairstylist selves, right? What advice would you give yourself?
Actually, this is advice that you gave me, and I say it all the time. I give you a lot of credit for this, but you're not good at taking feedback, so you need to pause, take a moment, and remember that this person wants what's best for you, and really receive that. And it's still something we're working on to this day, but I mean, I do, like 2 years later, I feel like I'm making a lot more progress in that department.
How do you set yourself up for that?
So really, a lot of conversations have been had. So like, if I know I'm about to get a harsh piece of feedback, Aaron's going to be like, "Hey Ruthie, like, can I give you some feedback in this moment?" And that already is triggering. Okay, she's wanting to tell me something to better me, not to attack me,
right?
And not to bring me down or anything. Like, she wants to build me up, and so she's going to have to give me a piece of feedback in order to do that.
This one's really interesting, and I mean, I think everybody, like, feedback is truly a gift, right? Mm-hmm. As a perfectionist, right, like, feedback would mean, well, what I did wasn't perfect, right? And as a 3, like, that is like being proficient, right, is like a core piece to a 3's wiring.
Absolutely.
So I think, for both of y'all, like, if I can talk on that feedback piece of it, because here's the thing, I think, like, imagine if you didn't learn that feedback was hard for you, what the experience would have been, and how much, like, you'd be like, I can't even talk to her, like I'm seeing her struggling and I can't even help her out because she can't get out of her own way. Does that, like, how does that land for you at all?
So as far as, like, I feel like I agree. I 100% agree with Ruthie that all feedback is good feedback, right?
Yeah.
Even if somebody praises you, like, I feel like sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes you need to be like, oh, like, I am who I think I am.
Yeah.
But there's other times where I feel like if you are struggling with something, I feel like getting feedback is such a gift, because it's like, wow, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
And, like, this completely changed it for me, and now I understand.
Right.
So in reality, I feel like it's just, people are just giving you tools when they give you feedback, and you just got to take them and use them.
1000%. Okay, so I'm going to ask, this might be a difficult question. So let's say that even with all of the awareness that we're talking about right now, right? Like, let's say that something lands and it's experienced as, like, personal, right? How do you handle that?
I sit with it, honestly. I'm an overthinker as well. So, like, I will sit with it and I will mellow on it. And at first, like, my initial is going to probably be angry or just shut down a little bit.
Yep.
And so, like, once that, like, initial emotion kind of pushes away, I'm like, okay, let's actually break this down. Like, what, like, who is saying this? What is the credibility that they have with it? How is this going to impact my life? Like, those types of things. Then I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, if this is what they're saying, then how can I kind of pivot and shift what I've been doing?
I love that you're saying, though, I'm hearing, like, one, sit in it for a minute. When emotions are high, IQ is low. And again, I mean, if a person is being courageous enough, because, like, it's not easy giving, like, feedback in itself is an art, but delivering, like, hey, like, back in caveman times, like, when people drew on the walls, like, red next to the big dinosaur, they're trying to tell you not to go near the dinosaur. And if you don't want to listen to that, caveman times will tell you you're probably not around anymore, right? So they're trying to help you out. It's just certain to be like, I hate, like, the color red's so offensive to me. Like, that's okay. Which one's worse? The color red or the T-Rex? I think the T-Rex is the worst one, right? How do you handle that, Alondra?
I very much, I feel like I'm with Ruthie. If I get feedback, being a perfectionist, sometimes you take it and you're like, what do you mean I'm not perfect?
Yeah.
But in reality, it's the reality, right? Nobody's perfect. And I feel like sometimes sitting with it initially and also really thinking about it from their point of view, like,
so strong.
Like, understanding they do want the best for me. Like, if Erin ever gives me feedback, I know it's because she wants me to grow and she wants me to walk into my potential. And so sometimes seeing it from that point of view can really change it and say, you know what, that's totally valid. And, like, I see that now, you know?
For those of you that are listening, I think that, again, there's a high level of, I think, self-awareness of what y'all are speaking to. One point, though, that I think is really, really important to bring up is, let's say that you don't handle it well. My opinion is let the emotions come down and immediately go back in for repair. my story is that if you don't go fast enough back to repair, the likelihood that that person is going to come to serve you again in the future is just less likely, right? Yeah. Okay. So like we jumped on feedback. I love that one. So if you were to give like little baby hairstylist Alondra some counsel, what would you say?
I would say that it's okay to make mistakes. I would say get really curious, ask lots of questions. Sometimes I feel like we get into our own head about asking a silly question because we're like, what are they going to think of me not knowing this, right? But in reality, it's like, I think Erin says this all the time, but it's like lack of communication is premeditated resentment.
Whew.
And
whoa,
mic drop.
Let's say that again. Let's say that again.
Lack of communication is premeditated resentment.
Yes, ma'am.
And I feel like that goes in so many different aspects of life, but I feel like especially when it comes to getting curious, asking for feedback, I feel like the more you communicate, the better, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would say is I feel like I need to work on my communication, work on taking feedback, and be okay with not being perfect.
Yeah. Gosh. So first out, I just want to say thank you for your both for jumping in on this. Like y'all are at ABS, you got like tight schedules in between education. Want to celebrate you first there. Secondly, again, if you're a salon owner, if you're someone that's just getting into the industry, like I think one of the other pieces to really distill from this is understanding that like feedback is an essential part of our growth. And if for some reason, like there's as we go back to the Enneagram, like our abilities, like this is a high level of self-awareness because Enneagram is something that's brought in y'all's company like right away, right? Now,
Absolutely.
if you don't know what that is and no one has ever worked with you and you're like, gosh, you know what? Anytime I've had someone give me feedback, coincidentally, personally or professionally, that person's no longer in my life. Right? I want you to think about this because the reality of it is just another area that you can focus on, and like telling them like my favorite thing if you get hit and you get triggered by it, hey, I'm really, really certain that what you're saying is coming from a place of care, and this is something that I'm trying to work on. I'm not great at accepting feedback yet, so can you give me some patience and grace, right? So I want to say that real quick because truly, like, I think there's so many times that someone comes in with a great intention, and we might not have the EQ and the skill built yet to be able to accept it, but like you said, like, who is this person? What is their intention? Like, ask those questions. My main thing is if this serves and it saves one relationship, this conversation will have been a massive success. So thank you both again for taking a few moments and joining me and talking about growth. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, hey, if anything that we talked about today, but specifically Enneagram is something that you're curious to, just drop us a DM. We'd love to have a conversation about it. It's my truth that the more aware that we are, the better our careers are, the better our careers and our relationships are, the more income we have, the better lifestyles we have. And then like we keep our cologne and our boots and our bodysuits. That all rhymed. That was really great. That was the best outro I've had yet. All right, take care.
One word. I'm going to show you a picture. You got to give me one word to describe this picture.
God.
Fire.
Hot.
Oh, dang. Dude, this is so good. Oh, man.
Can you send that to me?